Hi, Kendall. Thank you for taking time to meet with me and talk with me today. I'm always excited to talk to other fellow educators. Can you tell me why you became a special education teacher?
I've always wanted to be a teacher ever since I was little. I don't know why. Maybe I was in the past life. I have no idea. My twin didn't, but in college I was in just elementary education, and I met this girl at orientation named Brooke, and we were best friends. We hung out every day, and she's my first friend I ever met at Texas State. And she called me one day really upset because Texas State was about to, the class that she enrolled in it wasn't at capacity, so they were gonna close it because not enough people signed up for it. And so they needed one more person, and she convinced me to do it. And then I did one class, and then I just stayed with it, and I wanted to pursue it. And now I'm getting my master's in autism spectrum disorders, so. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Kendall. We really appreciate you being in the field of education, especially special education. As most of us know, it is a severe shortage in special education and special education teachers. Can you describe what a day is like as a special education teacher?
I would say it's a lot of stuff to remember just because you have to apply behavior strategies, because it's more of behavior struggles and academic struggles, and you have to remember token boards, like how to reinforce their bad behavior, their good behavior, and just keep them accountable. And you want to make sure they're independent as possible. That's the goal. You want them to become self-sufficient. You want them to just be able to learn and grow and succeed in your class.
Now, you currently work at the Arizona Autism Charter School, correct?
Yes.
And what percent of your classroom has disabilities?
I would say all my students have a disability, whether it be a learning disability or autism, ADHD. They all have behavior that I would say impacts their learning in some form. Yeah.
So how important do you think it is that we have teachers and paraprofessionals, assistants, behavior specialists to work with these students so they can become productive adults in society?
I always say it's very important to have help always with the behavior specialists, paras, the behavior response team, BCBA, whoever's working with you, because I always say one team, one dream. So
I like that. One team, one dream. Can you tell me what's the best part about your job and what's one of the more difficult challenges that you face?
I would say the best part about my job is just bonding and building relationships with my students and just seeing their growth. Like, my kids have already grown so far just from the first day of school, and they're just growing so fast. It's like time is just speeding up. But I would say the thing I struggle with the most is just my time. I feel like there's never enough time in a day to get all my stuff done. So I would say I'm always having to do the IEPs like out of contract hours because I don't have time to do them during the day. So I would say time management's a big thing for me, especially right now.
For those of us who are not familiar with IEPs and paperwork and planning, can you describe what that looks like for us as far as a teacher in special education?
It is the IEPs, the individualized educational plan. So every student that qualifies for it based on their eligibility needs to legally have one, and it just is it's just their plan to help them be more successful with their accommodations, modifications, their goals, their present levels, and it's a lot of writing. It's a big document. So it's the time you have to take data, and then you have to plug in the data for the IEP, and it's just a lot of data, a lot Alex.
So as a special education teacher, you're writing extensive paperwork. I know it's legal paperwork and it's held legally binding as far as making sure that the student gets their proper education. You're responsible for kids with disabilities. A lot of them have medical diagnosis, and we have to make sure we are serving them properly. How much time at home do you think you spend outside of the school day doing paperwork, lesson planning, conferencing, and preparing for your students the next day?
I would say probably at least an hour Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends I dedicate my Sundays to my paperwork and my lesson planning and making sure I have all my materials for the next day and whatever the theme of the week is. But I would say a big chunk is the IEP. That is like the biggest chunk. But I like doing the IEPs. I just wish I had more time to do it. It's just, there's never enough time, I feel like. Because I only get an hour planning period, but somehow I never get to go my planning period because I'm always getting caught up in here with something. But yeah, I would say that.
Thank you, Kendell, for that. And with the time that's been consumed, not just teaching kids in front of you, you spend a lot of time at home at work. Are you paid hourly or salary?
I'm paid salary.
Okay, and today I seen a sign at the Circle K gas station, and it says $61,000 to work at Circle K, which is a gas station here in Arizona. Not to tell the world your personal salary, but how do you feel about teacher pay in Arizona?
I think it's just crazy to me how we get paid so low, because, you know, I feel like we're low for rank, you know, nationally. And so I kind of feel like maybe if teachers got paid more, there'd be more of an incentive for people to want to teach, because I feel like I know a lot of people that I tell them I'm a teacher, and like they've made comments like, oh, I love that job, or I would love that job, but they don't pay anything. And so I think we could get some good people out there if, you know, they paid more. And I only get paid $55,000 a year. In Texas, I'd be getting paid $10,000 more as a starting out teacher. And then if you have your master's, they double it. And it goes by experience. Like every year you get paid a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. So if you've been teaching for 10 years, like Texas, you get paid pretty good money over there, like in this, like $70,000, I would say, for public school. And it depends on the school district, but I've never worked at a public school in Arizona. Only in Texas I worked in public schools.
And what type of school are you working for now?
A charter.
And in Arizona, charter schools get paid more than public schools, where it's usually reversed in most schools across the nation.
Yes, it's reversed. That's what I would say, because I never did charter in Texas because, or private, because they always said, oh, you're not going to get paid. So everyone just did HISD, Fair ISD. They paid like the best in the state of Texas, those districts, and Conroe.
Did you know currently in Arizona they are paying teachers starting between $35,000 to $50,000 being the type rank, and this is someone with a bachelor's and or master's degree?
I do believe that, because I got interviewed at this one school, and it was like such a prestigious charter school, and I thought they were going to pay me big money because it was so fancy when I walked in. And then they're like, yeah, we'll hire you. Your salary is $45,000 a year. And I was like, okay, well, I'm the only one that in the whole school that would have been SPED certified, and I'm getting my master's, and they were still gonna pay me that $45,000. So I didn't take the job because it was just too much.
Well, thank you, Kendell. I appreciate you taking time out to interview with me. Is there anything you would like to tell future teachers or someone who's thinking about getting a special education degree?
I would say don't listen to a lot of other people who try to change your opinion. I feel like you need to make that opinion for yourself. Like, at least try it yourself. Like, just attempt it. And you know what? If it's not for you, it's not for you. But just attempt it. Just try it, because I think it's worth it. For me, I think it's worth it.
Thank you, Ms. Kendell. We appreciate you teaching our kids, especially those with disability. I applaud you for your time and effort that you give to our students. Is there anything you want to say to your students?
I don't know, to my students. I love my students. I love their energy. I wish I had their energy. They just come in at 7 a.m. just with Energizer bunnies, and I'm not like that. I have to have 8 cups of coffee. So, yeah, I love them. I try to make learning just interesting. So, yeah. Hope they like me.
Thank you, Ms. Kendell. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.